Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. Today, we're going to explore Sigmund Freud's theory of the ID, ego, and superego, and how these components impact our personality development and overall psychological growth. Freud's ideas have had a significant influence on psychology, so understanding them can provide us with valuable insights into human behavior. Sigmund Freud, an Austrian neurologist, is often referred to as the father of psychoanalysis. One of his most influential theories is the structural model of the psyche, which he introduced in the early 20th century. According to Freud, our personality is composed of three distinct parts: the ID, the ego, and the superego. Let's break down each of these components and understand their roles. First, let's talk about the ID. The ID represents our basic instincts and desires. It operates entirely on the pleasure principle, seeking immediate gratification for our wants and needs. Think of the ID as the part of you that craves a piece of cake even if you're on a diet or wants to stay in bed rather than getting up for work. The ID is present from birth and is the source of all psychic energy, making it the primary component of personality. For example, consider a young child who sees a jar of cookies. The child's ID drives them to grab a cookie without considering the consequences. This immediate desire for pleasure is characteristic of the ID. Next, we have the ego. The ego develops as we grow and start interacting with the world around us. It operates on the reality principle, which means it tries to satisfy the ID's desires in realistic and socially acceptable ways. The ego acts as a mediator between the ID and the external world, balancing our primal urges with the constraints of reality. Going back to our example, the ego of the child might make them hesitate before taking a cookie, considering whether they might get caught or if it's the right thing to do. Finally, we have the superego. The superego develops around the age of 5 and represents our internalized moral standards and ideals. It's essentially our conscience, guiding us to behave in socially acceptable and ethical ways. The superego strives for perfection, judging our actions and feelings based on these internalized ideals. In our example, the superego would remind the child of the rule that they should ask before taking a cookie, promoting a sense of guilt or pride based on their choice. To summarize, the ID, ego, and superego are constantly interacting within our minds. The ID pushes for immediate gratification, the ego tries to find a realistic way to satisfy those urges, and the superego aims for moral and ethical behavior. This dynamic interaction shapes our personality and influences our behavior. Freud also believed that these components play a crucial role in our overall psychological development. During different stages of our lives, conflicts between the ID, ego, and superego can lead to anxiety, which the ego manages through various defense mechanisms. Understanding these interactions can help us better understand our own behaviors and the underlying reasons for our actions. Thank you for joining us today as we explored Freud's theory of the ID, ego, and superego. We hope this gives you a clearer understanding of how these elements contribute to personality development. If you found this video informative, please like, subscribe, and share it with others interested in psychology. See you next time.